Dr. Reilly, you have counseled youth ministers and urged us to be attentive and intentional about creating a safe space for an adolescent to share their concerns, their thoughts, to process what they're feeling with us. I think most of us have some idea how to do that, even if we're not very good at it or can get better at it. But what gets our full attention and makes us feel like we're a little overwhelmed is when the moment of holding that safe space is actually precipitated by a suicidal crisis, by someone telling us that they are contemplating an attempt or in the midst of preparing for an attempt. How does a youth minister who doesn't have psychotherapeutic training respond in the moment of crisis in a way that does create that safe space?
That is indeed a very difficult situation. I think it's so hard to hear and to be able to tolerate that level of sadness and despair in a child or an adolescent. So first I want to acknowledge that whether you have mental health background or not, it's a very difficult situation for all of us. And I'm so appreciative that youth ministers are willing to be able to be there and to hold that space. I think an important piece to remember when children are indeed in that space, they don't really want to die, but they are having a very hard time understanding how the emotional pain they're experiencing could ever go away. They're in essence hopeless. They don't know what to do. And to them at that moment, ending their lives feels like the only way truly to end their pain. And they have heard a lot of other things before. They've heard about how good their life might be. Or they might have heard about what a good person he or she is, and so therefore, why would you think about this? Or they might have even had some sort of help before, but they don't feel like any of that is helping. So one of the things that is important for youth ministers to remember is that this is not the time to try to convince someone out of suicide. It's not the time to bring in different reasons why it's worth living. It's actually the time to acknowledge the intensity of the despair that someone is feeling. So saying something like, I am so sorry that you're in so much pain right now, and I'm here to be able to hear it and to be able to hold it with you. I think it's also an important moment to be able to say, and I care so much about you that it's important that we do something together. Because while it might feel right now like there is no other answer, there are ways that we can get help. But I want to make sure we do that together. And I think being honest, being truthful, making sure that you're not going to hold any secrets or not making any promises that wouldn't be helpful is critical at that moment. And to say, I'm not going to leave you. I'm going to be here with you. And I don't know what's going to happen next, but I want to find that out together with you. I think that's an important way of holding that space when somebody's feeling so distraught and so unsure of what will happen. One thing that I think after being in that space, it's important that the youth minister have a space for him or herself to be able to debrief after that. So it takes a lot of emotional and spiritual and physical energy to hold that space for that moment. So I want to encourage people who do go through that experience to then also find someone that they can talk to and be able to share what that was like.